Every religious perspective on witchcraft with a smile, no broomsticks required. What comes to your mind when you hear the word witchcraft? Maybe a cackling lady on a broomstick, a bubbling cauldron, or a suspicious neighbor from down the street who's just a little too good with herbs. But what if I told you that witchcraft is one of the most misunderstood and debated concepts in human history? In this video we're flying, no broom necessary, through time to explore how different religions and cultures have seen witchcraft. From ancient Roman spellcasters to modern Wiccans, from holy fears to TikTok witches, get ready for a wild, magical ride. And hey, if you enjoy this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's get enchanted together. Let's rewind all the way to the ancient Roman era. Picture this: a world where witches weren't charming spellcasters but terrifying hags straight out of a horror story. Roman literature loved to portray witches as old, creepy women who chanted strange spells, brewed nasty potions from who knows what, and sacrificed. Yeah, even kids sometimes, yikes. These witches could raise the dead, control the weather, or turn your ex into a goat. Typical Tuesday stuff, right? Names like Erichtho, Canidia, and Marrow filled the stories, giving everyone something to fear on dark, stormy nights. Imagine a Roman Karen with a grudge and a cauldron. That's the vibe. Fast forward to the early modern period in Europe and things get, well, darker. By the 15th and 16th centuries, witchcraft wasn't just a spooky story. It became a deadly accusation. The infamous Malleus Maleficarum, basically the witch hunting for dummies of its time, gave people a manual on how to spot, accuse, and punish witches. And no one was safe. Women, the elderly, healers, people who talked to their plants a little too much, all could be accused. And let's be honest, sometimes it was just neighbor drama taken way too far. She looked at me funny, she must be a witch. Tens of thousands were executed, mostly women, as societies tried to pin their fears on a convenient scapegoat. The line between magic and medicine, healing and harm, became dangerously thin. In Scotland, between the 16th and 18th centuries, witch trials went into overdrive, up to 6,000 prosecutions. That's a lot of folks accused of things like cursing cows or causing bad weather. Meanwhile, Russia had its own witch hunt drama. Trials mixed religion and politics, with witches accused of sorcery, excommunicated, and sometimes executed. What started as fear of the supernatural often turned into a handy way to silence rivals or control the population. Lesson: if you're going to accuse someone of witchcraft, you'd better not have any enemies with power. But here's where the story takes a surprising twist. Starting in the 1930s, new movements began to reclaim the word witchcraft, but with a whole new meaning. Inspired by everything from ancient paganism to Aleister Crowley's magical ideas, groups formed secret societies, practiced ceremonial magic, and saw witchcraft not as evil, but as a spiritual path. The most famous of these is Wicca, which blossomed in the mid-20th century, thanks to Gerald Gardner. Wicca ditched the scary hags and focused on nature, harmony, and personal growth. Wiccans, and others in related traditions, proudly call themselves witches, and their magic is about connecting with the divine, celebrating the earth's cycles, and don't worry, no child sacrifices involved. Mostly practiced in English-speaking countries, modern witchcraft looks more like peaceful rituals and candlelit ceremonies than dark curses. Even Italy joined the party with Stregheria, another neo-pagan tradition aiming to revive old folk practices. And let's not forget today's internet witches. Yes, TikTok is full of them. From spell jars to astrology memes, witchcraft has gone digital, often focusing on self-care, empowerment, and aesthetics. Who knew the broomstick would be replaced by a ring light? But what about how religions see witchcraft? Well, that depends on who you ask. In Christianity, historically, witchcraft was seen as a pact with the devil, a dangerous, forbidden path. The Bible has verses warning against sorcery, and the Church, for centuries, led the charge against alleged witches. But today, most mainstream Christian denominations don't go witch hunting. They view witchcraft either as a sin, a superstition, or simply irrelevant. Islam also forbids witchcraft and sorcery, viewing them as shirk, associating partners with God, and therefore a serious sin. But like Christianity, modern Islamic societies largely see it as something from the past, not a daily worry. Unless your cousin blames his bad luck on black magic, there's always one. Judaism too historically condemned witchcraft, seeing it as dangerous and linked to idolatry. Ancient Jewish law called for avoiding sorcery, but modern Jewish communities aren't exactly holding witch trials. In fact, many see those old laws as symbolic lessons against fraud and deception, rather than worrying about witches in the literal sense. On the flip side, some indigenous traditions and African diasporic religions, like Santeria or Vodou, embrace spiritual practices that outsiders might label witchcraft. But within those faiths, these are sacred, respected forms of connecting with the divine, ancestors, and natural forces. It's a reminder that witchcraft is often in the eye of the beholder. So, what can we take from this whirlwind tour through magic, mayhem, and misunderstanding? Maybe it's this. Throughout history, witchcraft has been a mirror reflecting people's deepest fears, hopes, and need to explain the unexplainable. Sometimes it's been used to inspire, sometimes to oppress, and sometimes to entertain. Looking at you, Harry Potter fans. What was once a word that could get you burned at the stake is now, for some, a badge of honor, or at least a cool Halloween costume. And here's the twist that history teaches us. When societies face uncertainty, they often look for witches, or the modern equivalent, to blame. So before we point fingers at anyone today, maybe we should ask, are we falling for the same old trap? If you enjoyed this magical history tour, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives with a smile, and tell me in the comments, which kind of witch would you want to meet? An ancient Roman potion maker, a medieval wise woman, or a modern Wiccan at a full moon ceremony? Let's chat. I read every comment, and who knows? Your answer might inspire the next video.